We'll
right
combine our combat teams together. These are super directional, so if you're wanting to talk, just talk directly into them.
Check 1 2 1 2. Mike Zuller.
Here, I'm gonna have the map.
He didn't even have the map. Crush him.
Intentionally, like, product placement. Like we play. Nadia, thanks for allowing us in your space.
Yes, absolutely.
Just me. Yeah, I'm the show.
Remaster.
Well, I do bring the cards to.
I don't think.
Shake Zula, the mock ruler.
All right, everybody. Hello, and thank you for joining us.
What's
we
up,
are
what's
going
up?
to be opening 2 boxes of Flesh and Blood, courtesy of Chris and Morgan.
We've got a. It's Brendan is the hand that's closest to the camera here. We're going to be opening up a first edition box of Tales of Aria, which we still have available for sale here at the ingames.co.
Pick it up, pick it up.
We also have a box of Unlimited Crucible of War, which is a great expansion set. Has a lot of powerful stuff for pretty much every faction in the game.
We are not selling Flesh and Blood singles yet, but if our community makes enough noise, we absolutely will look into it.
We are working on it.
We've actually been talking about that sort of thing. So we're really excited. Thank you for joining us, and let's hope we get good pulls.
Alrighty.
Bless.
Oh, and
Pass the blessings.
yeah.
Pass the blessings
Very
to the
good.
Tales of
Very nice.
Aria.
The great thing about first edition boxes for Flesh and Blood is they have a chance to get a cold foil, which is exclusive to first edition. A lot of the cold foils in this set are equipment that you use pretty much every game.
Oh, well, all cold foils are equipment.
There should be cold foils of other cards too.
Really?
Yes, I think some of the.
Possibly. I've only
had equipment.
Alright guys, pass them around. Let's have a fun old time here.
All right. Also, Brendan, you don't get to say anything because you literally opened your box and got a cold foil New Horizon.
I was yeah. I had,
Don't speak to me.
For those in the know, I am a blue-white control player, and the blue-white control mage for Flesh and Blood is Oldhim, which is the new elemental guardian from Tales of Aria. So I had every intention of playing that in this game too, and then like, what was it, 3 or 4 packs in?
third pack.
Yeah, 3rd pack in, I opened a New Horizon. I was like, well, that changed everything.
Speaking of, I'm actually very excited to announce that we did receive the Oldhim Armory pack. So we will be able to offer Oldhim themed playmats, rainbow foils of the hero, and cold foils of his signature weapon.
Yeah. And we've got some Lexi stuff still as well. Oh, I guess that's it.
Woo.
Alrighty, so Brennan with the first pack.
I've got an embodiment of Earth and Lightning. I don't know if anyone's played against Briar yet, but man, is that annoying. How should I? For camera?
Oh, let's see. You can go ahead while I set this up.
Alright, so I'm going to just do the rares and the foil in my pack, though I do see some other cards that are super sweet to talk about. Ooh, hello.
If you want to, set them aside and we can chat about them later. Considering Chris and I are generally new players, any insight would help, especially for any community members listening in.
I'm very happy about this. We've got Flash, which is one of the cooler cards. It's a blue Flash. The next action you play this turn costs 2 or greater, gains Go again. It's helpful with the kind of the Lightning decks one to get those bigger attacks in. I'm working on a Lightning Lexi deck since I got the hood, so I don't use the blue Flash in my deck. But it pitches for 3, it's a Lightning action, super sweet. What I'm super excited about is Ice Storm, which is the Ice and Lightning fusion card for the Elemental Ranger class. This card is bonkers. You have to fuse Ice and Lightning together. Have you looked at fusion yet?
I have not actually looked into fusion, or even this set for that matter.
So for this set, the newer mechanic is elements.
Okay.
So there's Ice, Lightning, and Earth that'll get added to each class. The Ranger is Ice and Lightning. The Guardian is Ice and Earth. And then the Rune Blade is Earth and Lightning. Right, so it's kind of this
triangle, this trifecta of elements.
Yes. Fusion is kind of like Kicker.
Okay.
But the Kicker cost is just showing off a card in your hand that has that type.
Alright.
So for Ice Storm, this one's unique that you have to show an Ice and a Lightning card. There's one for each combination that's both, right? The pulses. But when you fuse, you get an extra effect. So for Ice Storm, your next arrow attack gets +3. And if it was fuse, it gets both of these abilities. If it hits a hero, it deals an extra damage to them, and whenever it deals damage to a hero, you make that many Frostbite tokens under their control, which is a taxing effect.
Yeah.
So Ice Storm, super good pull. I see a lot of Lexi dual fusion decks trying to run it. I went strictly Lightning with my build.
Okay.
But I think this card's super sweet.
Solid value.
Yeah, and a foil Amulet of Ice.
It has a place somewhere. I just
It's got
haven't
a
been
place.
able to figure out the amulet very well.
Yeah, for sure. Who wants to go? Here, if you want to go.
Hero here, Briar, which is the one Brendan was talking about being annoying. I think it's pretty sweet.
It's annoying to play against Briar. It encourages you to be aggressive, but the embodiment of Earth tokens you get every time an attack of yours hits adds to your defense, so you're not getting punished for your very aggressive stance in the game, which is super powerful.
And then we got Evergreen. This is just a good attack here. Like when it's played from Arsenal, put it on the bottom of your deck so it's a reusable attack. It seems pretty good as an Earth action. And then a Sigil of Suffering. Really good with Briar. Actually, it's really good with any Rune Blade. Specifically with Briar, because Briar cares about the arcane damage. Actually, I think it's just damage for
Just
most of the
damage.
time. Yeah.
It is crazy.
Yeah. So and it's a defense reaction for 0.
For Lightning cards in the set, they have a lot of effects that if it hits, it deals extra damage on top of that. So for Briar having Lightning, it's very much like, even if you're dealing that 1 extra damage on top of it, it's a separate instance of damage. So you get 2 Earth things for that 1 hit.
Yeah. So like in parallel to Magic, it's almost like adding that.
Yep.
Down the line.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, and I have gotten our close-up cam set up, so we can just move it around and show
I would
off
say like
cards.
Ice Storm is
extremely
definitely
closely.
the first one we're showing off.
God, that art is
Right?
really beautiful.
Yeah. That was the other thing that led me to Lexi, was all like the Ice and Lightning.
That's what led me to this game.
Yeah.
Like, at
Oh,
all.
Yeah, I've noticed
Yeah.
the art in this set, not specifically, very, very drawing to the eye. The action, you can see the action, it makes you want to see the action. Third pack, I cracked open a lovely little snapshot. I guess I'm going to be the first one to pull Majestic over here. Oh, never mind. Second
Walk it
place.
back, walk it back.
If you're not first or last, here we are. So we have a Cancel Thundersteep. Following that with another rare, we have a foil Eve Earth. So it looks like I've gotten some good support for both Lightning and Earth thus far.
I like the weave
ideas.
cards a lot. Each element has a different weave card that kind of embodies the that element. And there's a benefit to running non-attack actions as part of your turn, especially for like the Rune Blade. That's kind of its whole thing, is that you're using these non-attack actions to go again and make your go again attacks actually hit for something.
Okay.
I can't claim that I've actually seen too much of this set, so a lot of this is actually very new to me.
And exciting on top of that, for sure. I spent a lot of time at home going through the Welcome to Wrath Unlimited boxes, trying to memorize the quantity of flesh and blood now purchased.
My partner was so sure that the third hero was going to be another wizard, because there's only like one wizard, poor Kano. And when they announced the third Rune Blade, they were like, no!
I haven't played against Kano yet, but seeing him in the Blitz format, what you've been, what Chris has been playing him, and you're just like on turn 2, you're just dealing like 15.
Oh my god.
Yeah, let me just murder someone real quick.
It's real fun.
That reduced health, I think, is very intimidating to a lot of people who are like, ooh, I don't know about that. But I'll tell you what, the reduced health is better than the freaking mechanologist doll's reduced intelligence.
I would say like that's it's 3 for.
It's 3 cards in your hand.
Yeah, instead of
no.
That's rough.
It's horrible.
Unacceptable.
My favorite thing in all of card games is drawing cards, so I'm not okay with that. That's not me.
That's fair.
I really, really am always impressed by the foiling of the cards. Like, even this rainbow foil is just gorgeous. It really highlights, like, the extremely, like, good details of the art you otherwise wouldn't see, because, like, in Winter's Grasp here, you can see, some glints of snow off of this town and trees in the distance, and it's just extremely pretty. I have no idea how to play this game. All I know is pretty.
Only played a few games. Very fun.
Yeah, I'm finding it to be a nice, like, mediary between, you know, I usually come to the shop and I play Magic a lot, Commander specifically. I'll find sometimes on Mondays or Sundays if I'm here and there's not a lot of other players, you can tend to find 1 or 2 other Flesh and Blood players, depending upon if they have the time or if they're not in the pod already. And it's just a quick, fun game to pick up, and you can play 30, 40 minutes, and the next thing you know, you've got other games you can go play right after that. So, good for me for a middle ground.
Yeah, when I finally learned a little bit about Flesh and Blood, it definitely felt a lot like what I thought Commander should be played like, because I'm a little bit new to Magic the Gathering also, but, it's definitely more thematic around, like, your single hero, and I really enjoy that.
I've just kind of been opening as we've been discussing, but I did get another Majestic. This is the Earth and Lightning fusion card.
Ooh.
Blossoming Spellblade.
Yes.
So that's going to be a Briar card. The interesting thing about the set is kind of a twofold...
Oh, you got a good one.
Oh, I just pulled a legend.
You just pulled a cold foil.
Cold foil legendary.
Cold foil.
Oh my gosh.
Here, I'll talk about this in a second.
Hey, let's hold on there for a second,
let's
Brendan.
go ahead and have Brennan talk.
Oh,
Sword of Ice.
So that's a card.
It sure is.
Yes, cardboard.
Heart of Ice. I would say almost everyone is running it for Oldhim.
I mean,
Pretty much everyone.
does it work well with Lexi? Because she's ice
I think
also,
it's pretty
right?
good with Lexi. I've been on the fence about which chess piece to use for Lexi. The hood's kind of the given because you get the double arsenal hood. But Heart of Ice, as a once per turn action, you essentially frostbite your opponent this turn. So that makes them a lot more difficult to defend with defense reactions. Makes it more difficult to use their equipment on defense. Also, just has Arcane Barrier.
Yeah.
And this would be a regular card if it stopped, but it also has Blade Break. So you can block regular attacks, you can block arcane damage, you can frostbite your opponent for the turn, all for just in the equipment slot. It's bonkers, and probably the most expensive thing we'll pull from this box.
This is
good
the third legend I've pulled all together. I think you all have a Mask of Immolation actually that I traded into the shop here. If you
Memento.
all
To reuse it.
You pulled
I pulled 3 Tomes of Findale, 2 Masks of Immolation, and I sold to the shop in case anyone playing Flesh and Blood is interested. The shop does have a Mask of Immolation.
I think maybe.
Maybe,
We'll see.
possibly.
We're going to be working on doing singles soon-ish, and what form that will look like.
All in due time, my friend.
I don't mean to brag, guys, but I did get a cracked bauble.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This one. Also great. Foil flicker.
Oh.
Oh.
Pretty sure that's...
Here, we're gonna move. We're not gonna put a card on top of
Yeah.
this card, but we are
No.
gonna slice this.
That one's I think just for Briar. Yeah, because it's a Rune Blade action. Is the lightning one? I think. A moment. So yeah, for pretty much for the rest of the turn, action cards deal 1 arcane damage. On top of that, if it was fused, and it has go again for pretty much nothing. Great.
Oh my goodness. Has anyone been keeping up with the story for Flesh and Blood? I mentioned
I have
this,
no
and
idea.
someone was like, I didn't even know there was a story. I thought it was just like,
You know, speaking of that, I also did not know there was something to it. So if you have any guidelines for this, do share.
I mean, there's not really guidelines. It's just like very quick vignettes about the hero and what they're doing, and the story seems to be focusing kind of a lot on Viscerai, the like first Runeblade.
Yeah.
In one of the stories, he rips out someone's spine to make his new sword,
Metal.
right?
Mortal Kombat.
And
Finish
also,
him.
in the first story that they put him in, he talked about how he imagined how all of that carnage must smell, but he couldn't smell it anymore. And then in the second story, they talked about how a place smelled, and you were like, no!
Inconsistency.
This is a plot hole! How can
it's
Viscerai
very-
smell this?
It's a very casual cold foil, but it's still a cold foil. The
Whew.
rotten old buckler. I'm curious to see how the common equipment does for this set in terms of a cold foil.
And if you're playing Oldham and you don't have the head legend build for the set, then that's your go. It's pretty much your only other option. So
I mean, yeah. Is that
The
2
opportunity
cold foils?
yeah.
In this box?
Yeah. I know
would say
my
a lot
box
of them
had 2.
This is
Because I
wild.
also got the Ragamuffins hat in my box.
Oh.
I think I got
Whatever a
one
ragamuffin
in each
is.
of my box or one.
You don't know what a
two of
ragamuffin
my
is?
No, but he has a hat, and I have a cold foil. Of
A
his hat.
ragamuffin is like a naughty child that gets into trouble. A little rapscallion.
I see.
That's a ragamuffin. What does it do?
I think you get to replace a card from your hand and